Good morning and welcome to the Financial Optimist. Today, I want to show you a breakdown of my expenses for the month of July. Now, mind you, for comparison purposes, I live in the US, which is currently ranked as the 13th most expensive country on the planet, and I also live in the state of Florida, which is very similar to the overall national average cost of living for the US. And the reason why I'm doing this for this month is because I just moved into my current house in the month of June, so July is the first full entire month of me living here. This is my very first monthly expenses for my new home. I'm very excited. Also, I don't live with roommates, I don't live with family, I live here alone, so all these numbers you see is for a household of just one. No pets, no roommates, no one. So with that said, I'm going to shock you with how little you could spend in the US. As expensive as everything is, with the whole cost of living and affordability crisis going on, it is possible to live on an absolute shoestring budget and still have a great life. Don't believe me? Just keep on watching. So let's get right into it. So the first item for breakdown is the grocery store. I bought a total of $83.05 worth of food for the entire month. Now you might be asking, how on earth did I spend less than $100 on groceries for the whole entire month? That just can't be. Well, there's a few things that play into that. For one, you'll notice that I'm not fat. About 2/3 of Americans are overweight, so if you're eating too much food, you're going to spend too much money on food. If you eat a modest amount of food, you can save money. Also, for the month of July, I did decide to cut back from 3 meals a day down to 2 meals a day because I was trying to lose a few pounds, which I was very successful at. And so by eating only 2 meals a day, I could save even more money on top of that. Plus, I am also blessed to have a workplace which has a fully stocked break room, has a bunch of snacks in there. So usually, I don't pack a lunch. I don't bring food from home with me. I just go to work, I find some snacks for free, eat that as my first meal. And then when I come home from work, I'll eat my second meal using grocery store food. So I'm only eating 1 meal a day at home, so for a whole month, you're talking $83, 1 meal a day over 30 days. Overall, very, very affordable, just a few dollars a day for food. That's less than $3 per meal I'm spending because I cook at home. And mind you, I do normally go to restaurants and fast food several times a week. For this particular month, I didn't do that. I was trying to lose some weight for July, but for the August breakdown, there will be restaurants and fast food once again. So for groceries, I'm very, very impressed with how low this is. I don't know if I'll sustain this month over month. Will my food bill go up next month? Will it go down? Not really sure. I'm hoping I can keep it this low every month, but we'll have to wait and see. Next category is fuel, $68.47. So overall, that's pretty good. That's because when I was buying my current house, I decided I don't want a long drive. I want a short drive to work. So it's currently about a 20-minute commute without traffic. My car is moderately fuel efficient. So overall, I had a total of 3 fuel ups at the gas station this month, and it was less than $70 for fuel for the entire month. So overall, it's not too bad. And, you can save some money by, doing less trips, doing less traveling, having a short commute to work, getting a more fuel-efficient car. There's things you can do, but overall, it's a fairly small category. Not too bad. Next is utilities, and this was a much, much larger category, $241.82. And of which, most of that, the majority of this was the electric bill. Because, as I said earlier, I live in the state of Florida, and it's currently the summertime, which means we use air conditioning 24 hours a day. It gets very, very hot even at nighttime. So the electric bill to run the AC is quite high. I'm hoping as I move towards the winter months, this should hopefully come down to under $200 a month for that time of year, but we'll have to wait and find out what it actually is when the winter comes. But for now, this is my largest individual line item expense, which overall isn't that bad. Like I said, it is a household of one. I would like to see it lower, but overall, not too shabby. So the next expense is entertainment, $42.45. So what did I get for about $40? Well, now that I have my own house, I realized I don't have any board games. I gotta buy some. So I just went to eBay, bought a lot of used board games. There's 8 games in total that were included for about $40. So it's about $5 per board game. And I got all the classics, Monopoly, Risk, Operations, Battleship, that kind of thing. And this right here is going to be some of the best money I ever spent. Because a board game has some of the best ROI, or return on investment, out of any form of entertainment. You spend just a handful of dollars buying it, and then you can enjoy the game for the next couple of decades. And you can build friendships. Like I bring friends over to my house every single week. We play board games, we crack jokes, we have fun. And I can reuse the same board game year over year over year. And when I bought a lot of used board games, the oldest one in there was the Battleship game, made back in 1978. The game is decades older than I am, and yet it still works just fine. And I only spent $5 on it. So this is absolutely money well spent. The entertainment budget on a month-per-month basis, some months maybe zero, some months maybe something. So this technically isn't a necessary expense, but it's a little something extra I wanted to buy, and overall it is still quite reasonable given everything else. So definitely don't regret this. I may spend more in future months, but that's fine so long as it stays within reason compared to my budget. Medical, this would be like doctor's appointments, prescriptions, medical supplies, only $13 this month. And so not too much. I just picked up a couple things. And so somebody may say, how is it that low? Well, same deal with the grocery store. You'll notice I'm not fat. If you're overweight, your likelihood for Alzheimer's, dementia, cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure, all these types of health issues are substantially higher risk if you're overweight. So if you maintain your weight, not only do you save money on the grocery bill every month, but you also save money on the medical bill because you're not wasting a bunch of money on health issues that are preventable by having a healthy diet. So living healthy is very, very important for saving money. To be frankly honest, people out there can't afford to be unhealthy and fat. The economy is in shape where you really can't be fat and save money at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. Food ain't that cheap anymore. So you want to save some money? Get in shape. All right, other. These are just some other miscellaneous expenses that didn't really have a category. $28.70, so not much there. And again, this is one of those kind of oddball categories where some months it may be zero, some months it may be a large amount, just like entertainment, kind of an oddball. It could be a little one month, a lot the next month, so it's going to be a hit or miss. This month it was a hit, not much money. So the grand total for the entire month was $477.49. Absolutely astounding. I can't believe how low my expenses are. Because when I was buying my house here, people told me, now listen here, son. You don't understand. Life is just very, very expensive. It's going to cost you a lot of money, far more than you expect. Well, you know what? Turns out they were wrong. Because for this month of July, after doing a few estimates, I gave myself the goal of spending no more than $700 for the entire month because I thought that would be realistic. It felt kind of ambitious, only $700. Turns out it was less than $500 of actual expenses. I am absolutely blown away with how affordable it is. Now, with that said, I understand some months will be more expensive than others. Like some months, for example, will have property taxes that are due. Some months will have car repair bills. Some months will have insurance bills, that kind of thing. And so the idea is that on the good months with only the normal expenses, I spend a few $100 to cover basic cost of living. And then on those more expensive months, I may spend over $1,000 a month. So my goal is to spend $1,000 a month or less on average over the whole year. So having an absolute banger of a month to start us off with is absolutely fantastic. So even if next month was $1,500, I'd still average $1,000 per month, which is great. So with that said, you may be asking yourself, hang on a minute there. There's a few categories that are missing. You've definitely left some things off. Well, what about, restaurants? Well, I mentioned earlier, for last month, I didn't go to any restaurants for the whole month, trying to lose some weight, which also helps save some money. For August, there absolutely will be restaurants that will become a line item under grocery store. I'm estimating about $100 on restaurants I'll spend for the entire month. I like to eat out a couple times a week. So that will be the expense for next month, but not for last month. Some of the expenses you might be asking, hang on a minute, what about the rent? What about the mortgage? You said you had a house. Don't you have some kind of bills? Well, that right there is the beauty of my plan here. Years ago, I decided I wanted to make owning a house the number one priority of my life. So I pushed everything else aside and made home ownership the goal. I decided to cut my expenses down to nothing, work as many hours as I could, and save. After years of hard work, I was able to buy a house for cash without a mortgage. And now, I finally have the dream of home ownership as a reality. This wall behind you is the most expensive wall I've ever bought, but it's my wall. And with that said, if anyone ever tells you it's impossible to buy a house, the younger generation can't get ahead in life, will never own a home, will never retire, it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, it does take years of hard work, but it is possible to own a house. I've done it. Here's the proof behind me. And now that I own a house, I have no mortgage, I have no rent, I have no PMI, no mortgage insurance. I don't have any of those extra expenses that go along with home ownership that most people pay. So that's how I'm able to save so much money. Is I own my own house. I have full control over my budget, my expenses. And so that's how I'm able to get the expenses down to under $1,000 is I own my own house. And because I've actually done it, I've developed a proven strategy that works to buy a house. I'll be sharing that strategy with you in future videos, so go ahead and stay tuned and subscribe if you want to find out how I've done it. I'm not going to dive too deeply into this video for it, but I definitely do want to inspire you with a story of success. It is possible for a young man to succeed in life. You just need to have a different playbook than the generations before us had. So, what about the other categories I'm missing? What about debts, for example? Where's the credit card payments? Where's the student loan payments? Well, that's because I live the debt-free lifestyle. I refuse to borrow money. I've never borrowed a single penny in my entire life. Every single thing I've ever purchased, I pay cash for. Or a debit card. Either way, I'm never borrowing money for it. But no credit cards, no student loans, no car payments, no mortgages. I'm a cash buyer for everything. That's how I roll. And so I'm able to keep the bills nice and low because I'm not paying interest. Instead, I earn interest. So some of you may be asking, what about insurance? Don't you have some kind of insurance? Well, I do, but I don't pay it every month. I usually pay it either annually or biannually. For example, my car insurance is a 6-month policy, and if I pay it the entire 6 months all up front, I get a discount. If I pay it month by month, I pay a bit more. If I pay it all up front, then I get a bit of a cash discount there. Same for my phone bill. I only pay it once a year, and by doing so, it lowers the phone bill substantially by paying it at the beginning of my annual plan instead of paying by the month. So for 11 months of the year, I have no phone bill, and then for 1 month of the year, I have a very large phone bill. So that'll be sometime next year when that'll be part of the monthly budget. It will be for that month, but not for this month. So I already prepaid my phone bill for the rest of the entire year, so I'm good to go. So some of you may ask about, well, hang on a minute, what about subscriptions? Don't you have, Hulu, Netflix, anything else? And the answer is no. I don't watch televisions. I don't watch movies. It's not usually what I do. And even if I did, I would buy it on DVD. I mean, I have a couple TV shows on DVD I got years ago. And, if I want to watch something, I prefer to buy a physical disc I can rewatch without paying a monthly bill. That's just how I roll. But even then, television movies aren't usually a big time spender for me. It's not really a thing for me. And if it is for you, some people are into that. You could roll that into the entertainment budget, I suppose. But for me, I don't do subscriptions. That's not what I'm about. I try to avoid them as much as possible because they just get very expensive very fast. They charge you a monthly service or monthly fee, and what if you don't even use the service that month? Like, you look at Amazon, for example. I've been a regular shopper of Amazon for 15 years. I've never once become an annual member, never once paid the monthly fee. I just buy things. I get free shipping on most items because the size of the order is large enough. And yes, I know I'm throwing out a few dollars of discounts here and there because Amazon Prime members do get some discounts. Yes, I lose out a few dollars here, but I'm saving over $100 a year on the membership fee. So overall, it does save me money because I don't shop on Amazon all that often, just a few times a year. And so that's another way I save money is I avoid subscriptions. So what about things like property taxes? Well, that's all due all at once at the end of the year. So for my November breakdown, I'll have property taxes there. I'll show you how much it is then. And it really shouldn't be all that much compared to the national average because I made sure to get a more affordable house, which means my property taxes are also much lower as well. So that'll be an incredible breakdown right there, but we'll have to wait a few months on that one. And what about HOA fees? Well, I made sure to buy a house without an HOA because, again, I want to save money. That monthly HOA fee is money down the drain. I don't care. I don't want to, even though I get it. Some HOAs provide you with swimming pools and tennis courts. That can be nice, and I can see the appeal for that. I was tempted by a few HOAs, but I decided it's best to go the HOA-free route, have full control over my property and my house, and have one less monthly bill to pay. So those are some of the common expenses that are completely missing because I literally didn't pay them at all. So this right here is my breakdown for the month of July. And as I said, this is probably going to be one of my better months for the year. I'm expecting my other months to be a bit higher, but that's totally fine. As long as I average less than $1,000 per month, I've met my goal for the entire year. And if any of you have any questions about how I did it, drop it down below in the comment section. If any of you think I'm totally full of crap, I'm making it up, that's totally fine. Give the video a downvote, leave a negative comment, that's perfectly alright. You don't have to believe me, this is the internet, believe whatever you want. But this is absolutely insane how I'm able to save so much money. I'm really, really excited about this. I'm motivated for next month. I already know August is going to be a little bit higher because I had a couple bills coming in, but that's fine. I'll still be well south of $1,000 for the month of August is what I'm expecting. And so I really hope you come back next time and see my breakdown for next month. Of course, I have many other videos coming as well, showing you how I'm able to save money, teaching you various tips and tricks that I've learned over years to save money. Also showing you how I purchased a house. That'll be a video coming in the future about how I shop for houses, how I save money, that kind of thing. And so I really do want to inspire you to be successful. Yes, I know it's hard to make it in today's economy. There's not a lot of jobs out there. Everything's expensive. Sometimes it feels impossible, but it's not. I've already become successful, and I want you to as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.